So if you did not watch last night's video, please go back and watch day 1. But tonight is day 2. Day 2 is all about the simple food combining part, because component number 3 of the shield is to eat food in a way that controls insulin. We call that combinations because with whole foods, you combine your foods. But I also want you to know about how you can order from restaurants, do recipes, and use meal replacements. So all of those things are options. So I'm going to share my screen with you tonight. Feel free to take any notes or anything like that. Also, too, remember last night, if you watched, I said I was going to ask you a few questions tonight. So y'all have some fast fingers and be ready to chat when I ask those questions, okay? So you will get this website in the new member fast track group. You will get that about 9:15. This will post. So you will have access to looking at this again. So don't feel like you have to screenshot it or anything like that. You will get it in a post in that group. So what I'm going to do is as we get to a new category tonight, I'm going to read each thing in that column or block. I'm going to read it, because being able to get the category 1s and 2s and what these things are in your head to where you are understanding them quickly and easily, that's really the best thing. That's the best thing. So I'm going to read them to you because it helps to hear them. It helps. So, but then as I get to a new row, I'm not going to reread that category. I'm only going to read them as we get to them in their new. Okay. So, and then I'm going to talk about the cooking oils and fats one time. I'm going to talk about the condiments one time. And then as I move through, y'all will have the picture of those, okay? Because they're going to be in a lot of different rows. When you see this flame with the plus sign, this means that it is excellent for fat burning. Excellent for fat burning. There are some things that are great for fat burning, but these are just a little better than great. They're excellent. And so the other ones, you come down and you don't have the flame on those, you just have a plus sign. So let's look over some category 1s. Now category 1 can also be notated as an LP, which is a lean protein. And you can do 2 to 8 ounces. Generally, a lady will do 2 to 6 ounces and a man could go up to 8. But even if you're a lady and you go up to 8, it's not going to hurt you. But generally 2 to 6 for a lady. Now, right now in the beginning and getting started, it won't hurt you. But if you get down to where your last 5 pounds, 10 pounds, then you might need to bring that back from the 8 if you're doing 8, okay? But 2 to 6 ounces for a lady is a general rule. Egg whites, fish, all of your fish is here, chicken breast, turkey breast, pork tenderloin, boar's head turkey, boar's head chicken breast, boar's head London broil, low-fat cottage cheese, fat-free cottage cheese, Greek plain yogurt, Hebrew National 97% lean beef frank, one of those, and 96% lean ground meat. All of those are approved as a category 1 lean protein. And I'm going to talk about cottage cheese real quick. See, low-fat cottage cheese and fat-free cottage cheese is a lean protein. But if you choose full-fat cottage cheese or a 4% cottage cheese, that moves over into the protein plus fat category. So I just wanted to talk about that. So let's have a look at some cooking oils. 100% MCT oil, coconut oil, ghee butter, which is spelled G-H-E-E, hemp oil, or 0-calorie cooking spray. All of those are approved oils when you are living the Shibboleth lifestyle. If you choose to use olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, or any other oil that is not listed here, that would be called a holiday. That'd be a holiday. So our number 1 most recommended is the 100% MCT oil. Now this is a very fast burning oil, and when it burns up fast, it creates some energy, and so it is thermogenic. But what's great too about MCT oil is that it has a muscle preserving effect and a metabolism building effect. And those things are very, very important. You want to be able to protect your muscles while you are in a calorie deficit, and you also want to build your metabolism, and MCT oil, or 100% MCT oil, has that effect. Coconut oil is a good choice because it is 60% MCTs. Ghee butter, which is butter that has been clarified, it's 40% MCTs. I don't know how many MCTs hemp oil is. And 0-calorie cooking spray, it's great to use when you're cooking something that already has fat in it. So let's say you're making some scrambled eggs and you're using whole eggs. It already has fat in it, so you would use 0-calorie cooking spray. But if you're doing egg whites, you could do 100% MCT oil. So your serving size for those oils, or your spray is just going to be a spray, but your serving size, you could go up to 1 tablespoon for a serving. But let's say you're cooking 4 pieces of chicken in a pan for the family, you could use 4 tablespoons, okay, for that. So that is your tablespoons for that. But in the zero drag 100% MCT oil that we sell, that's the brand name of it, Zero Drag. It's important for you to buy some MCT oil so that you go ahead and have it at home. We don't require that you purchase anything from us ever, but I do highly encourage you to buy that particular thing from us because it's got 100 calories per tablespoon rather than 130, where most other MCT oils have 130. We also know that ours has been optimized for cooking purposes, and that is important. It's optimized for cooking. So if you're not buying it from us, the brand that Travis really recommends is the Now brand, Now. But if you're looking in the regular grocery store or somewhere else for it, then it just needs to make sure that it says 100% medium chain triglycerides. So that's what the ingredients should say, 100% medium chain triglycerides, not even just medium chain triglycerides. It needs to say 100%. You also need to make sure that it says that you can cook with it, because if it's an emulsified MCT oil, you don't want to cook with that. So that would not be the one that you would want to buy. So just make sure that it says 100% MCTs and make sure that you can cook with it. So with that last bit said, I also want to tell you that it burns up very quickly on your body. Boom, like that. But if you're using long chain triglycerides, which is olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, they don't burn up like that. Okay, they burn very, very, very slowly, and they have a great propensity to be stored on your body as fat. So secret alert going on right now. MCT oil is what you want to use because it's easier for your body to access and burn stored fat or use its own energy. That's what we want to do, okay? But those long chain triglycerides, that doesn't work like that. So let's go ahead and switch our oil out. Condiments, 0-calorie condiments work. Obviously, anything 0-calorie works. 15-calorie or less spices and seasonings, salt and pepper, 15-calorie or less coffee creamers, salsa, salsa, reduced sugar ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, Kraft fat-free mayo. So that's just a very short list of condiments. If you look in the food library, there is a link called condiments. You can just click on that link and look through and just get yourself some additional suggestions for that. But absolutely anything that you want to use that follows the rule I'm going to give you next can be used as a condiment, even if it's not listed in the food library. So many things could be listed as a condiment that we just don't have it all in there. So, but if you want something added as a condiment, we certainly will do that. You just take a picture of the front of the item and the back of the item, and you post it in the Shibboleth Fixed It Facebook group, and Kim Shibboleth will have a look at it and add that to the library. But this is the rule that I want you to know. We call it the 5, 2, and few rule. So when you're in the grocery store aisle and you think, I want to buy this barbecue sauce, and you go to the food library on the website, your mobile-friendly website, you go there and you look up that barbecue sauce, but you can't find it. Well, it might not be in there. So what you're going to do is you are going to flip over that barbecue sauce, and you are going to look at that, and you're going to look for 2 things. You're going to look for the sugar content per serving and the fat content per serving. If it has 5 grams of sugar or less per serving and has 2 grams of fat or less per serving, then you can use that item as a condiment as long as you're not going to use more than 50 calories of it. You can have up to 50 calories worth of condiments for each meal if you would like to. Now, I want you to keep in mind that every calorie that is not spared from your meal is also not spared from your calorie deficit. So just be choosy is what I'm saying. Just be choosy. So when we think about those calories, if we have 50 calories that we can use, and we don't have cheese on this condiment list right here, but cheese can be a condiment. Let's say that you use a slice of cheese that is 30 calories, but you also want some approved ketchup, then you would use up to 20 calories of that because you don't want to go over your 50 calories of condiments, okay? So last night, one of the questions one of the bits of information that I gave you was the foods that you can eat without combining. So I'm going to ask it early, what 5 categories, and if you're watching on Facebook, y'all can type this in too, what 5 categories can you eat without having to combine them with another category? There's 5 of them. 1 and 7 for sure, because that's your lean proteins. Yes. And Kay got the other ones there, fibrous carbs and protein plus fat and superfoods. Yes. So y'all got that going on. Awesome. So you can use all of those. So if we look right here in this row, this is saying you could get any of this lean protein. If it was something that you should cook up in an oil and throw some condiments on there, you could do that, and this would be an excellent fat-burning meal. I want you to keep in mind, using the 2-hand rule, that if you want a piece of chicken and you're only going to eat a piece of chicken, it doesn't mean that you get 2 pieces to put under each hand. You still want to stick with those ounces, okay? So, but you can do that and have an excellent fat-burning meal. Excellent. So we're going to scroll up a little bit. And if y'all have any questions while I'm talking, please go ahead and ask them, and then I will pop back and forth and get those. But let's look at category 7, shellfish. Now, last night, I gave you a bit of information about category 7, shellfish. What is that important information? That's right, Nora. It is just like it's just like a number 1, lean protein, okay? This is lean protein. It's just like a little subcategory of lean protein, shellfish. Now, does the actual item that goes in this category have to have a shell? Great. No, it doesn't. So my example last night was octopus. It doesn't have a shell. That's okay. So if it swims in the ocean or swims in the lake and it doesn't have it's not fish, it's not a fish, then we just put that in the shellfish category, okay? But they're really just lean proteins. So you can do 2 to 8 ounces of those: crab, lobster, shrimp, scallops, oysters, mussels, clams. So there's you a nice little list right there. And if you like snails, they're there, that kind of thing. Frog legs are actually, I'm being silly, but frog legs are actually a category 1 lean protein. And so what this is saying is you can eat category 7 by itself, cook it up in the right oil, throw on the right condiments, and you can have an excellent fat-burning meal. So last night, we talked about another category that I was going to talk about tonight, or I mentioned another category, and it was hemp products. So it's a category, but it doesn't have a number. We just call it HHF. HH stands for hemp hearts. HF stands for hemp flakes. So you've got hemp hearts, hemp flakes, very sweet hemp flakes, hemp protein powder, and hemp oil. So what this is saying here is you can take any of these lean proteins, pair them up with some hemp products, use some oil if you want to or need to or can or should with whatever you're fixing, and have some condiments, and you will have an excellent fat-burning meal. We do sell a lot of the hemp products that we highly recommend at the Shibby Shops. So both online and in person in Dalton or Kennesaw if you or live near us. But hemp hearts are actually a category 6 superfood. What did I say last night qualifies a food to be a superfood? That's right. It's got all 4 macronutrients. And on planet Shibboleth, we've got water because we include water as a macronutrient. We've got protein, we've got fat, and we have carbs. Okay, so all 4 macronutrients. Way to go on Facebook. I see that. So hemp hearts are a category 6 superfood. What hemp flakes are is they are a defatted hemp heart. So you've taken this hemp heart that has all 4 macronutrients and you have defatted it, which just basically leaves it with water, protein, and fiber. So hemp flakes are a category 1 and 2 together, where hemp farts, I'm sorry. Oh goodness. Hemp hearts are a category 6 superfood. Now, what very sweet hemp flakes are is you had a little bit of syrup added to it, a little bit mesquite flavor. It's absolutely delicious. Travis says he likes to put that on his scrambled eggs. I've not tasted that yet, but he says that's good. Hemp protein powder is basically a ground up hemp flake. And so some people have been, one thing that's really popular right now is to take some Greek plain yogurt and put some hemp flakes in there with some berries, and you've got a category 1 plus 2 plus 5, which is your fruit, and that's a proper combination. But some people, if you don't like the texture of the hemp flakes, you could use hemp protein powder, mix that up in that cottage cheese and give yourself that category 2 that you need to pair that with the fruit if you want it. So also this hemp protein powder, we've got some recipes for some blueberry muffins, and we have a recipe for a fruit salad with it. And we also have a recipe for lots of different smoothies, whereas most smoothies don't work because it's just a lot of fruit and it brings a lot of insulin release, where these smoothies that we have in the recipe library do work. So what this is saying is that you can have category 1 hemp hearts or hemp flakes or hemp products together with the right oil and condiments, and you would have an excellent fat burning meal. So this is going to be a really quick row to go over because this is saying you could have a category 7 shellfish with hemp products, the right oil and condiments. Excuse me. We have a new category right here, fibrous carbs. When you are in weight loss mode, I would suggest that you have maybe half a cup, but you can go up to 1 cup once you get into maintenance. But still, just remember you're using your 2-hand rule, okay? You move your fingers out, you move your thumbs out of the way, you put your hands together as close as possible. Excuse me, and you put your hands down over your food. And if you can't see your food sticking out around your hands, then you've portion controlled. Okay, but for those of you that are looking for some measurements, there you go. Broccoli, asparagus, squash, okra, green leafy vegetables, spinach, cabbage, cucumbers, bell peppers, hot peppers, cauliflower, kraut, dill pickles. So what this is saying right here is that you can have a category 1, which is a lean protein, with a category 2, which is a fibrous carb, cook it up in an oil and doctor it up with some condiments, and you're going to have an excellent fat burning meal. So here's a question for y'all. Out of this, the cooking oil category, which one of these oils would you use to make this 1 plus 2 the fastest fat burning meal? That's right. Yay, Portia. MCT. That's right, Nora and Kay. Awesome. MCT oil is what you would use. So that MCT, let me just tell you what we call this. I just did this lesson at the Shibby Shop, actually. Category 1 plus category 2 with your MCT is exercise on a plate. Category 1, Travis calls exercise in a category. But then you put the 1 and the 2 on the plate together, and then you toss some MCT oil in there. It's exercise on a plate. You'll have to go back and watch that little video that's in the silver level group that I just did from the Shibby Shop. But the reason that this works so well is because it requires a lot of energy and calorie expenditure to break down the protein in the lean protein and the fiber in the fibrous carb. And so basically the calories that you're burning burn up the calories that were in these foods. This is why they are exercise on a plate, because I looked up, and for 30 minutes of walking, there's about you burn about 149 calories. Well, if you do that for two times, like 1 hour, that's 300 calories. Well, this chicken breast probably has about 282 calories in it. Okay, well, if you just digest that, you won't have to go walking. No, I'm just joking. Y'all go walk. It's better for you. Nora, let's see. She did that today, category 1 and 2 without the oil and with spices. That's totally fine. No, you don't have to use the oil. You do not. If you want to use the oil, you can. Some of the benefits are like what I said earlier. It helps preserve muscle and it helps build metabolism a little bit, but it is not a requirement. Yes, you can eat this combo for all 3 meals. Yes, you can, Portia. Yep. Yep. And like I said last night, I had a really great question one time. Somebody said, well, this would be better with another category. But somebody said, well, why would I choose to use MCT oil, which has some calories, versus 0-calorie cooking spray? Well, it's the reasons that I just mentioned. And the 0-calorie cooking spray, I use that anytime I'm using a protein plus fat, because I already have some fat if I'm using the MCT oil on the others. But Nora, I do things, depending on what it is I'm cooking, I may or may not use that either. So it's not required all the time. If you have it, feel free to use it. It ramps it up a little bit. So this is going to be a really quick row to go over too. So this is saying that you can put your category 7 with your category 2, cook it up in the right oil with the right condiments. And so again, that's just a lean protein with a fibrous carb. So now we have another category, category 6, superfood. Now you'll notice, look right here, what went away? The flame. That's right, Pam. The flame went away. So this is great for fat burning. It's just that those others are excellent for fat burning, but great's still really, really good, okay? Category 6, superfood. Your pintos, your black beans, your red beans, your soybeans. This is also where all of your nut butters are, and your nuts and your seeds and avocados and things like that. That's all in your category 6 superfoods. Now, when you are seeing these portions listed here next to these beans, this is if you were eating this category 6 superfood by itself. This is if you were eating it by itself. If you are eating it as a component of a meal, I might do like a 1/4 cup, okay? Because it's still got to fit underneath your hands and you're going to be combining it with other things. But you can eat this all by itself if you wanted to. Now let's look at this peanut butter real quick. If you are a fan of peanut butter and you like quantity, there is a peanut butter that we sell in our store called Better Peanut Butter. And it's better, and then a little apostrophe, and then an N, Better peanut butter. And you can have 4 tablespoons as a component of your meal, or 2 tablespoons as a snack, where all other approved nut butters are 2 tablespoons for the meal and 1 tablespoon for a snack. So if you like quantity, you might want to try that. Then we've got our condiments. So you could eat a superfood doctored up with the right condiments and have a great fat burning meal. Now let's look at what else you can put with your superfoods. With your superfoods, you can add a category 2 fibrous carb. So we could, Travis calls this beans and greens. So you get your beans and greens right here with the right condiments, and you've got a great fat burning meal. I also want you to know that we just don't have it listed right here, but if you wanted to do some lean protein with this, you could do some lean protein, a fibrous carb, and a superfood together. Obviously, that's at the point where you're going to use maybe that 1/4 cup of superfood rather than 1 cup to 1.5 cups. That's again if you're eating it by itself, okay? So let's roll down a little bit more. Oh, good. Pam, that's your favorite. That's awesome. Category 4, protein plus fat, protein plus fat. So in nutrition, 1 gram of carbs has 4 calories. 1 gram of protein has 4 calories. 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. So it's a little more than double the amount of the others. So if you'll notice right here that it says 2 to 6 ounces. So lady, probably 2 to 4 would be best if you're looking at that. I'm telling you, I've never looked at any of that. I just eat it under my hand and move on. But if you're curious and you look at that, maybe 2 to 4 for a lady and 2 to 6 for a man. But the reason that it went down from your lean proteins is because the fat has more calories in it. So you're still going to get the calorie amount. It's just that you don't need that many calories, therefore you have fewer ounces. So that's where your whole eggs are, steak, pork ribs, beef ribs, turkey spam, pulled pork, beef brisket, 93% lean up to 95.9% lean ground meat, and turkey kielbasa as long as no more than 50% of the calories come from fat. Now, I'm going to hit a couple of things on here. Turkey spam. You might be sitting there going, ooh, gross, how come they have turkey spam on here? But what I want you to know is there's nothing on this program that you're forced to eat. We actually want to help you find all the foods that you like to eat and are eating. Maybe we just need to tweak which ones you're buying, and so that you can eat the foods you enjoy. We want you to enjoy your foods. So turkey spam is on there, but this is what I like to say about the turkey spam. If you are a grass-fed, grass-finished steak person, and that's all that you are willing to do is buy organic grass-fed, then we can teach you how to do this program. But if you have turkey spam or other processed meats that end up being lean enough, we can teach you how to do this program. If you are on, I have all the money in the world budget, or are you on, I'm eating peanut butter and jelly because 1 jar of peanut butter and a loaf of bread and jelly lasts me a week, we can teach you how to do this program. Everybody can be successful on this program, and that is one of my favorite things about Shibboleth. There is no discrimination when it comes to 1, what you're willing to eat, 2, what you can afford. We teach you everything that works. You now just get to choose what you eat, okay? So that's my favorite part about talking about turkey spam, is that this program will work for everybody, no matter what. And then let's have a look right here at the 93% lean up to 95.9% lean ground meat. What this means is that if you go less than 93% lean in a ground meat, that is called a holiday. Unless you're at a restaurant, because we give you that pass because we don't know what their meat is. But if you're choosing it at home, then you need to choose 93 or better to have a perfect day. If it's less than 93% lean, guess what they've done? They've taken some meat and they've added it to the fat. That's what they've done. There's not much meat in something that's less than 93%. Okay, so keep that in mind. So what this is saying now, okay, now we already answered this question. Y'all know that you can eat a category 4 by itself, right? Everybody got that? Because so many people forget that they can. So let's just say my easiest example is whole eggs. You just want to make yourself some scrambled eggs, totally fine. You can eat them by themselves, that's fine. Sometimes when I go to luncheons and things like that, the only thing that's there is a piece that I'm willing to eat is a piece of meat. And at a restaurant or somebody else is serving it to you, you need to consider it a category 4, protein plus fat. And so I just eat the meat and move on. I've had an approved meal. But optimally, you would pair that with a category 2 fibrous carb, and you can doctor it up with the right oil. Now, in this row right here, what are you not seeing that was in many of our other categories above? There was a category that we talked about early on that you're not seeing anymore. Yeah, that's right, Portia. The oils, because in this particular case, this already has fat in it, so you don't want to add oils to it. That's where I would use that 0-calorie cooking spray. Okay, so that's why we don't have the oils there. And we don't really have the oils here either, because this superfood brings a little bit more of an insulin release, so therefore you don't want to put oils with that. Yeah. So let's scroll down and we will see we have a brand new category. Category 3, energy carb, ding, 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 must be paired properly. Remember, I told y'all last night, train your brain. I should have said ding, ding, ding on the category 4, but I work that backwards. The way that I look at a category 4 is this. If I know I'm going to eat a category 4, I don't eat it with my energy carbs, my fruit, or my superfood. That's how I look at that. And I did a post the other day about something that I had eaten, and the way that I wrote the combination was 4 plus 1 plus 2 plus condiment. That's the way I wrote the combination out. And the reason I explained, the reason I wrote that is because the 4 is the one that I needed to focus on, making sure that I paired properly, so I listed it out first. That's just the way I do it. But on this one, this is ding, ding, ding in my world. You have got to pair this properly. But this one is, you have to think about this. What must I pair with this one? So category 3, energy carbs. If you're in weight loss, you could do about 1/4 cup. Once you're in maintenance, if you want to try going up to 1/2 cup, you can. But all of your potatoes are going to be here. Your oatmeal, steel cut oats, weight control oatmeal, long grain brown rice, quinoa, lima beans, peas, tomato, onions, carrots, whole wheat pasta, and whole grain pasta. Now I'm going to start at the bottom of this list here with these pastas. I really don't want you to eat these category 3 pastas. You can if you want to, but the reason I'm going to tell you why I don't want you eating them, because you get about 1/4 cup of them, which really is not a lot of pasta, okay? Because there are others where you could have more and they aren't a category 3. So if you were to do, let's say, the Explore Cuisine pasta, that's the black bean pasta or the edamame and mung bean pasta, those are considered category 1 and 2. Those pastas are a lean protein and a fibrous carb together. You get a little bit more of it, and it's better for you. So that's why I'm suggesting that. If you wanted to do the carbonara pasta is a category 1, 2, and 3 together. But still, in my mind, that one would be better than choosing even one of these whole wheat pastas, because you can have a little bit more of it, and it's got protein and fiber in it with the category 3. So in my mind, that's just a better option. If you are using the category 1 and 2 pasta, then if you wanted to put some meat on there, you could do a category 1 meat or a category 4 meat. But if you are using the carbonara pasta, that is a category 1, 2, and 3, you are not going to want to use any category 4 meat with that, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. Let's have a look at tomatoes and onions. Tomatoes and onions can also be used as a condiment. This is the way I like to think about it. If I am using tomatoes up to 1/4 cup, then that would need to be considered a component of your meal, and you would want to make sure that you combine it properly. But if you're just using a little slice, no thicker than the thick, your pinky, as a condiment on something, that's fine. Onion the same way, okay? So it's really the amount that you're using. If you're using it as a large amount, combine it properly. If it's just a little slice, then you can use it as a condiment. I skipped over carrots, but I do want to hit carrots real quick. Carrots that are raw are actually a category 2 fibrous carb, and they can be a freebie. But once they have been cooked, you must consider those a category 3 energy carb, because they have more sugar in them once they've been cooked. Peas, this is most of your peas are there. Actually, all of your peas are there, but that chickpea, which also calls itself a garbanzo bean, it's a superfood. So that's really the only pea I have found that goes in a different category. So your peas are there. Most of your lighter colored beans are right here, but you got your darker colored beans over in the superfood category. And that's that. So your category 3 energy carbs must be combined with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. That lean protein could be something from category 1 or category 7. but it must also be added with the category 2. So you should have at least those 3 things on your plate. Your category 1, 2, and 3 all combined underneath your hands. So maybe you put your category 3 like in the where your fingers are on one hand. Maybe you put some broccoli where the palm is on your hand. And underneath the other hand, you put your protein source, which is your chicken, and then you portion control it, and that's what you eat. If you want seconds, you can have seconds 4 to 6 hours later. Or if this is at your meal, you can have seconds tomorrow, okay? I never have talked about seconds. The Lord must have thought I needed to tell somebody that because it popped into my head right there where I've never said it before. Oatmeal. So oatmeal, I have a hard time with oatmeal. One, I don't eat it. But that's not because I don't want to. I'm going to pop over into the Shibboleth food library. It's not that I don't want to eat it. It's just that I just don't eat it. I didn't eat it before Shibboleth. It's just not been a favorite of mine. But what we're going to do is I'm going to go into the food library and I'm going to search for oatmeal. And so you got these oatmeals here. Let's look at regular oatmeal right here. Is the category 3 energy carb. You can use it as a condiment if you wanted to. If you're having, you could do 1 instant packet or a 1/4 of a cup. But being a category 3, you know, it should be combined properly. So let's look at some things here. The instant brand, if you're doing instant, must be Quaker Weight Control. I think it's called Fiber and Protein now. You could have regular oatmeal, and the serving size would be 1/4 to 1/2 of a cup. Although grains and other category 3 vegetables are only allowed in small quantities, you are still allowed to have them under proper conditions of portions and combinations. Category 3, okay, if you just want a big bowl of oatmeal, go with 2 packages of the Healthwise oatmeal. Actually, Kay, we sell that at the store. The Healthwise oatmeal, you could do 2 of those at a time, and they're really good. And you could have that by itself too. And then, or 1 package of Healthwise mixed with a 1/4 cup of steel cut oats with ghee butter. So you could do that. That would work. And then there are a few little things down here listed that are recipes that are made with oatmeal. Now, because you may be looking for a different option with the oatmeal, oatmeal is listed in what we call a perfect pairing group. And I'm going to see if I can. So there's some other things listed like powerful oatmeal and that. So what I would do is I would go into here and click on oatmeal and look through those. Then, but Kay, let's have a look at this. Do you see right here on the right-hand side where it says perfect pairing item? We're going to look and click there. The reason I want to do that is because oatmeal can be paired with some egg whites, and that would be a perfect pairing. And you don't necessarily have to do a category 2 with it. But, Kay, this is really what I would do. I would go into that silver level group because there's almost 8,000 people in that group, and I would say, oatmeal lovers, how do you eat your oatmeal and what do you do? Because they will give you the answers. Because I do know that you could do oatmeal with egg whites and it would work. So that's what I would do with the oatmeal. And do you see how many options? Yeah, the Healthwise is really going to be best for you, which will be really good. But that just keeps going and going with the perfect pairings. Let me explain to you real quick what a perfect pairing is. Actually, I'm going to show you something. If I go right back up here to resources, and if I click on food library, now if you're a new member, yours looks slightly different, and I have this up on here. I'm going to show it to you in the end. But do you see? Y'all need to read everything on this website. You need to read all of these little descriptions of these categories. But let's come right down here. There's going to be one on perfect pairing. These items don't quite fit the formula, but they are Travis approved. eat. These items are called perfect pairings, and you shouldn't add anything else to this meal. So a perfect pairing is something that does not follow the combination chart, but that Travis has determined that will not hurt you and would still work. Now, the perfect pairing, if you have looked at the combination chart, this one right here, this is my favorite combination chart. This one's called the advanced combination chart. If you have looked at this, you see that there's 3 columns here. And this one is the fastest column, and this one's fast, but it's not as fast as these two. See right here where the P is? The perfect pairing will be in this one, because still it doesn't quite follow the rules, but has been determined it would still work and not hurt you, but it's not going to be the fastest, so it would be right there. Okay, so I hope that helped. All right, so let me explain one more time, because I think this is super duper important as to why you are eating this in this way. This is the science part. It is so important. Categories, actually everything that you eat brings a little bit of an insulin release, but a little, that doesn't hurt you, okay? But if you eat the category 3, there's more of a, a little bit more. So y'all like my noises tonight? Category 3 energy carb is going to bring a little bit more of an insulin release. Now that you are aware of that, the decision that you're going to be making is going to be a good decision. You're going to pair it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. You're using food basically as medicine. See, insulin comes out to regulate your blood sugar, and because you ate something that elevates blood sugar. But if you choose to eat it with the lean protein and the fibrous carb, it is going to also help regulate that too. It's going to help neutralize that insulin release. So the protein in the lean protein and the fiber in the fibrous carb help to neutralize the insulin release that came because of the category 3. Now you'll also notice there's no oils listed here either, because you don't want to put any kind of fats anywhere near a category 3. So because a category 3, when its purpose is to come out and regulate blood sugar, if it sees or senses fat, it's like a dog that goes, squirrel, I'm going to go pick up that fat. So we don't have any oils with these. So let's have a look at a new category. Category 5, fruit. Berries, apples, oranges, grapefruit, plums, grapes, bananas, peaches, pineapple, kiwi. So you can see they kind of give you some sizes here. Look right there at that banana. I have never eaten just half a banana. I thought if you opened up that banana, you had to eat the whole thing. But half a banana is best for serving size. But all of your fruit is in category 5 fruit. You may also know that or see that on some information on our website as an AC, an antioxidant carb. So it's also a carb. It brings a little bit more of an insulin release due to the natural sugars in here. Fruit's good, great for you. We don't have any problem with you eating fruit. It's just that if you're in the nutritional situation that you would like to shed a few pounds, then you need to eat fruit properly. And fruit must be combined with a category 1 or any lean protein. It could also be a category 7 and a category 2. So what that might look like is maybe you want to have some berries in the morning. You make yourself an egg white spinach omelet and you have the berries. Or like I was saying earlier, one of those popular things right now is this Greek plain yogurt with some hemp flakes, which is, remember, hemp flakes are a 1 and a 2, and then some blueberries in there. But I also like to, I gave that example last night. The example was if you're having a barbecue and you know what lean meat you're going to have, and then maybe you put some green beans next to your burger, or you could do a category 2 bun even. You could have maybe some watermelon as your fruit, and that totally would not look like a weight loss plate, but it would be. If you see these, let's draw a line right here underneath grapefruit. All your berries, apples, oranges, and grapefruit, those are really great for weight loss, berries being the best, and that's kind of in a hierarchy right there. And you'll notice here, there's no oils here because, again, you're going to have a little bit more of an insulin release. Now, with this fruit, once you get into maintenance, when you're having a perfect day in maintenance, and you're having a meal, you would still want to combine your fruit properly. But if you also chose to have a serving of fruit as a snack, you can. You can do that. So you could get more fruit in maintenance. So we're just trying, we don't, actually, I love this lifestyle because we don't exclude any macronutrient. It's all available to eat. We just teach you how to eat it. So let's look at some other things as well. So right now, we're going to talk about a hallelujah moment for most people. We have breads that are in the category 2 column. So we have some breads that are category 3. In my mind, why would I ever eat another category 3 bread when I have category 2 breads? Except for Ezekiel bread, which I like occasionally, is a category 3. But if you're eating that, one slice, and you'd want to make sure that you combined it properly because it's category 3. The category 2 breads are just easier to incorporate in my mind. You can eat them more often. But less bread is best, right after I said you can eat them more often. But La Tortilla Factory 50-calorie tortilla, Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla, Healthy Life bread, which I've also seen it called Lewis now, so that might be on the packaging, Nature's Own double fiber wheat bread, Bran Crisp, and it says bread, but really just know, we sell this in the store. It's a dry cracker. They have pumpkin seed ones and sunflower seed ones, a raisin and honey, all kinds of really good ones. Healthy Life hot dog buns, Thomas Light 100-calorie English muffins. Now, some tips on bread. You do not want more than 100 calories of bread with any meal. So this 50-calorie tortilla, you could do you could do 2 of them if you wanted to, but also keep in mind that if you're having 4 to 6 ounces of some type of lean protein maybe wrapped up in that tortilla, you might not need 2, okay? But just, you can have up to 100 calories if you want to. The Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber, I really never found that I've eaten more than 1 tortilla in a meal with whatever it is, unless I do the fat-burning chicken enchiladas. I do eat 2 of those because it's a whole recipe and just kind of makes sense to have 2. But when I'm making a little wrap and I'm combining that with a category 2 fibrous carb cracker, the Fiber Gourmet flatbread crackers that I like, when I'm combining those 2 together, I don't have room on my plate for 2. But the reason this is important to know is because this is Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla. They make some that are approved but have 80 calories in them. Well, therefore you could only have 1 of those because if you had 2, it'd be more than 100. I just wouldn't buy those. And then this Bran Crisp bread, it's almost a freebie. It's so good for you. There's so much fiber in there. Travis said that eating this Bran Crisp bread is like running a Brillo pad through your intestines. It'll just really help you out. Okay, let's look at some approved sweeteners. You could use stevia, Splenda, monk fruit, xylitol, and that's not the full list. That's just a short list. If it doesn't have any glycemic impact, 0 calorie, then you can use that. Let's just talk about the Splenda right now. We are not promoting the use of artificial sweeteners, but it will work for weight loss. So if you want to use it, you can. Totally fine. If you don't want to use it, then you don't. Let's look at approved beverages. You need to get your water in. How much water do we need to get in a day at a minimum? Yep, that's right, Nora. 64 ounces at a minimum, but you want to be shooting for a gallon. And the reason I say shooting for that gallon is I do find that people are more mentally and physically satisfied when you are shooting for that gallon. So at least get in the 64 to say it's a perfect day, but be going for a higher amount. You can have any 0-calorie beverage, does not take the place of your water. You can have approved tea or unsweet tea, does not take the place of your water. You can have coffee, but only with approved sweeteners. Does not take the place of your water. Water is so, so important. Cheese. And let's just look at cheese. You could use condiments up to 50 calories if you wanted to, but keep in mind that some of these cheeses aren't 50 calories. So if you wanted to use a slice, like I was saying earlier, I use the Borden fat-free cheese as my slice. It melts great and it's really tasty. So you got fat-free feta cheese, Kraft fat-free, Borden fat-free, Cabot extra light cheese. Laura Lynn fat-free, Kroger brand fat-free, and Lifetime fat-free. Travis says the Lifetime fat-free cheese is the best that you can buy. He buys it online. And then the Cabot Extra Light cheese is a block cheese that's really good. And the Borden is my favorite single sliced cheese. Let's see. That's totally fine, Nora. Nora asked if hot tea without sugar is fine. That is, yes. So let's look at some protein milks. So lean protein milks, you could do fat-free Fairlife milk, Kroger Carb Master milk, and hemp milk. Now, the reason that these milks work is because they are protein fortified, or like hemp milk is naturally protein. So these are protein fortified. That's the important thing. Most other milks, they don't have the amount of protein that you need in there. So this has high fortified protein amounts with lower fat, and that is why these work. When you're buying the fat-free Fairlife milk, if you are looking at their flavored milks, like their chocolate milk and stuff, that's no longer fat-free, so you want to keep that in mind. I haven't looked that up in a while to know what it would, how you could use it, but you might want to look that up if you're doing that. But if you're if you're in an area that does have a Kroger, then they've got the original flavor, vanilla flavor, and chocolate flavor, and they are all come in fat-free, and I do like them all. So you can do that. The reason that you would use one of these milks is because they help offset some foods that you typically put in milk are a little bit starchier, like a cereal. And so the fact that these have protein in it help offset that. If you are using one of these milks as a component of a meal, you could do up to 8 ounces. If you're just drinking yourself a big old glass of milk for a meal, like as you're running out the door to work or something like that, you could go up to 16 ounces of that, okay? So let's look at some breadings and flowers. Coconut flour, Carb Quick flour, Bob's TVP, which is textured vegetable protein, almond flour. Okay, let's hit this Carb Quick flour. This is awesome. We sell it in our store, and it's like Bisquick, but it is a category 2 fibrous carb. So you can make biscuits, you can lightly flour chicken breast, you can do a little nice egg white wash and throw that around in some Carb Quick with some nature's seasoning in there, and then cook that in some MCT oil. That is like fried chicken tenders. It's delicious. I even bake mine sometimes. They're so good. So that's really nice, that Carb Quick. You can make pancakes with it and all kinds of stuff. What I don't want you to do with it is use the recipes that are on the Carb Quick box. They did not take into account the other shibboleth rules because they don't care. Okay. Not that they don't care. It's just that's not their program they were focused on. So let's look at some cereals. You can do 1 cup up to 1.5 cups. These are the cereals that are best in getting you started. Kashigo Lean Original, Hayes Natural Cereal, which Travis absolutely thinks is the best cereal out there. He even says it's really like a superfood cereal because of the high quality of it. We do sell that in our store too. The Hilo Nutritious Living can be found in a lot of grocery stores as well. These are cereals that, let's say that you like almond milk. Oh, Nora, I don't know. I doubt it. But what I would do, Nora, is I would ask on the silver level group about that. And you can also look at this, Nora. I want you to look at this. I haven't looked this up before, but let's go into the food library, and I'm going to do Carb Quick. Just because I want to see if this works or not. But see this button right here, Nora? It says gluten-free. I'm going to click gluten-free. Okay, so it took it away. All right, but you might want to come down here. There's a flour and breading tab, a link for flour and breading. So there's our flour and breading. Now let's click gluten-free. And there's your list that you'll want to use for flour and breading. Isn't that awesome? I mean, you go to the category link on the right-hand side, you use the filter, and it takes out all the ones that it'll list out only the ones that you could use. That's awesome. Okay. So if you are a person that says, I like almond milk, you can use unsweetened almond milk. It's a category 4. You could use it with phase 1 cereals. Now, I'm not trying to confuse anybody by saying phase 1 or phase 2 or anything like that. All that means is this. Phase 1, we're trying to get you to eat the best of the best. Phase 2 is where we will teach you how to have Captain Crunch if you want it, okay? So don't think that, oh, yeah, I'm moving into phase 2. No, that's where we teach you how to eat boxed foods, frozen foods, and all that kind of stuff. Not that they're the best for you, okay? But there's options, and this is a lifestyle, so we want everything on there. But if you're having unsweetened almond milk, you definitely want to only eat that with a phase 1 cereal. And since I keep popping into the food library today, I am going to show that real quick because it's nice too. And I think it's helpful for y'all to see this. So I'm going into the food library. Look, there's a whole link. See phase 1 cereal and phase 2 cereal? I'm going to click on phase 1 cereal. And the reason I'm doing this is anybody that's listening to me that likes unsweetened almond milk. There you go. Those are the only cereals that you would want to have with unsweetened almond milk. But if you want to go and look at the phase 2 cereals, you would want to make sure that you only did one of those other milks that I just went over. Okay, so we've already gone over condiments, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about restaurants. I'm going to briefly mention recipes, meal replacements, and we're finished. I am not going over all of these restaurants, so y'all don't freak out. That's a long list, and it's 9 o'clock. But at a restaurant, you want to try to keep your calories 300 to 500 if they have them listed and everything. Let's just talk about what I really want you to do. What I really want you to do is I want you to open up the restaurant guide in the resources tab, the green tab that I've been going to for the food library. I want you to open that up, and I want you to go in there, and I want you to go to the restaurants that you frequent the most often. I want you to look and see what it is that they've got in there. Then I want you to click on it. This is the most important thing. You've got to click on it so that you can read how to order it. That's the most important thing. So let's say you're at Zaxby's and you're going to order a grilled chicken salad. Well, you are going to say grilled chicken salad, no fried crunchy onion rings, croutons, or bread. Okay, because those things aren't going to be your friend with that. So that's how, but it would tell you specifically how to order that. But let's hit Chick-fil-A real quick because it's real popular. 8 to 12 grilled nuggets, you can have that with a side salad. If you're willing to give up 4 nuggets to just do 8 for the fried, which is me, you can do that with a side salad. You can also have their grilled chicken filet, no bun. You can have their fried filet, no bun. You can have their spicy fried filet, no bun. But you cannot do their chicken strips. They are not cooked in the same batter, I think, and that's why. So the side salad is what you'd want to do there. No French fries with that unless you're going to call it a holiday. And you could order, if you want their dressing, you would do their light Italian dressing. I just put a little on the top, drizzle it until I've eaten that, and I might drizzle a little bit more, but I just do drizzles. I've never used the entire packet of that. If you want a 0-calorie drink there, you could totally do that. If you want diet lemonade, their diet lemonade is not 0 calorie. It is 50 calories for a small. I order it without ice so I could get more of it. But that's called an extra. And you'll learn what an extra is throughout the program. I mentioned it last night. Those are just little things that you can do extra. So if you're knowing you're going to Chick-fil-A for the day and you like their diet lemonade, you can do that, but you would want to call that an extra. And then anytime you're at a restaurant, let's talk about Cracker Barrel. They've got spicy grilled catfish with green beans there, but anytime you go to a restaurant, you could do a meat and a green. There you go. Approved. Okay. But what I really want you to do is go in there and go to the restaurants that you like the most, look and see the options, and then click on them so you'll know how to order them. That's an important thing to do before you get to the restaurant, okay? So let's talk about the fact that you can use recipes too. So all of those combinations that you saw, were great ways, and I kind of think of it as you've got your pan on the stove. You're cooking chicken here, you can get green beans here, you got some lima beans boiling here. That's combinations, okay? Or you're just making yourself a little sandwich. You've got a wrap with some approved sandwich meat, you've got a condiment of some cheese. By the way, I like to use the little round Laughing Cow wedge cheese, that is the light Swiss creamy one. I will take that and I will spread that inside my wrap. It's really good. It gives you like the moisture that maybe people are looking for from a mayonnaise, but it's got the flavor of some cheese. So I really like to do that. And then maybe some lettuce in there. And then you put that next to maybe some flatbread crackers or something, or an approved cracker. That's combining too. So you make an approved grilled cheese sandwich. It's a category 2 bread with the right cheese. You've got a 1 and a 2. You can make peanut butter jelly. That's all combining because you're putting components together that work. But you can also make recipes. The recipes are already in the recipe library. You would want to read the description, because if you read the description, it'll tell you if it needs to be combined with something else. So maybe you're making a side item. It'll say put with a category 1 or a category 2 or something like that. That'll be all in the description. You can use those. And then don't forget about meal replacements. I'm a heavy on the meal replacement kind of girl because it's just simple and easy. I love to eat hemp bars. I really like the oatmeal protein pies, and I'll do sometimes for lunch if I just am wanting some chips. Could it make me feel like I've eaten some chips? I'll eat 2 bags of the Health-Wise chips. They are so good. And it's a meal replacement. If I ate 1 bag, it'd be a snack. So you can do that too. So don't forget about those. I'm going to share my screen though. And we're going to go back to, I'm going to close this out. We're going to hit this food library again real quick. Come right over here. Do you see where it says meal replacement? We're going to click there. If you are in the Shibboleth new member fast track group, I have in there, and as marked as one of the announcements, my favorites. So you can look there. But see, this is where meal replacements are. Do you see this weight loss meter? This weight loss meter, hold on, I see a chat. Oh yeah, Michelle says she lives off meal replacements when she's traveling, especially. Yeah, I mean, they are a lifesaver for many things, because remember, we call component number 3 of the shield, we call them combinations, but it's really that you're eating in a way that controls insulin. So the meal replacement is combined in a way that's going to help you control insulin. But let's look right here. The weight loss meter is just a meter that is actually based on the thermic effect of food, which is really something interesting. So that's another lesson. But you see where it says -3 and then a +3? So the weight loss meter goes from that range. But your -2 and your -3 meal replacements are best. 0 is not going to help you, not going to hurt you. But your negative numbers are better for weight loss, and your positive numbers would be okay if you did them ever so often. They won't bring you out of EFB, okay? But if you do them ever so often, they're probably adding some extra calories and stuff. So they'd be best for maintenance probably. But it won't hurt you if you're having one ever so often in weight loss. So I just hit the set button. So it just regenerated my list. See, these things have -2, -3, -3, -3. So you can just kind of read through here and see all of these options for meal replacements. And then if you like something, heart it. It moves over into your journal. I don't know if y'all have experienced this yet, but in your journal, if you've hearted any recipes or foods, it moves it over into a personalized list just for you, which is wonderful. So see these numbers here? These numbers are the number of other users who have also marked they like this item. And if you wanted to add this to a grocery list, you click this button. You do have to have your grocery list already made before you click that. But if you're watching the Shibboleth new member fast track videos that come out each morning, this is some of the things I'm teaching you in that video that's attached to the post. So that's how you find your meal replacements. But I listed my favorite 10 out in the other group. But if you are a brand new member, and you click on food library in your dashboard, this is the food library you're seeing. This is a very simple food library, just to not confuse you in the beginning, okay? You can also print this, and then you could just do little check marks in all the little boxes of the foods that you like. Then you can use this combination chart and put them together and have a meal. So once you have taken the phase 1 foundation test, after you have finished watching Travis's daily dose videos, your website opens up and you won't have this as your food library anymore. But I have had a lot of people request that it come back. And so we did figure that out, and you can still add that to your dashboard in the future. So if that happens and you still want that, just reach out to me and remind me, and I need to make a video about it. But let's say that you're a person that says, but wait a minute, I actually need more than what's listed here, and you're a new member. Right there, go to Complete Food Library, and that's where I've been popping into tonight. And I hope that tonight has been helpful to you. And hey, Deidre on Facebook, I see you. I hope that this has been helpful to you and that you have learned a lot. And I hope that y'all are just super successful and you just keep right on going with it, because it's wonderful. I love it so much. I'm just so thankful that I have found it. And it's just created a very balanced lifestyle for me, and it is a real blessing. You're welcome, Kay. Yay, Pam. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Pam has started coming to the classes in Kennesaw. So happy about that. But yeah, you can go back, like we talked earlier, you could go back and watch that video from last night too. All right, well, if y'all don't have any questions, I am going to hop off of here, but please be looking specifically for the new member post in, you're welcome, Portia, in the Shibboleth new member fast track group. If you are not a member of that group and you are on Facebook, go into the search bar and you start typing Shibboleth new member, and it usually pops up. Anytime I've watched somebody do that, it has popped up. But if you need to finish typing it out, new member fast track, and I'll let you in. I'm going to go check that right now. All right, Michelle, I'll see you in the morning on the Shibby Show. And if you are brand new and you don't know what that is, make sure that you have liked the Shibboleth public page on Facebook, because I go live there Monday through Friday mornings, typically 7:15, 7:30 time, with just a focus in. How are we focusing our day? What are we doing? And a devotion and morning motivation. Oh, you're welcome, Nora. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. I was thinking about you and your mom the other day. Hey, do you know that we've moved into that space where y'all were there and we did that class one night? We are in that space now for our classroom too. So I mean our store too. So our store and our classroom is all in that space. That's awesome. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all enjoy your evening. Bye.